What's up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are having had yourselves a great weekend. We are back with episode 2 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. A Hard Salt Beef is the name of the episode. So we pick up right where we left off. And this episode definitely opened with just a lot of stuff. We have Dunk, who is kind of like narrating some stuff about his times with Sir Alan, and we get a nice shot of Sir Alan for sure. Um, I I had to like put my hand up. I was like, "Come on, man! What are we doing here?" Um, but basically, it felt like a really short episode compared to the first one. I think the first one was maybe like over an hour at least. Let me see. I still have. No, it was only okay. Well, this was about 10 minutes shorter. So okay, okay. But anyway, so Sir Alan or Sir Duncan is basically still going around trying to find somebody who can vouch for him, who has said they knew Sir Alan from his time serving them. He just goes all around to these different, houses and stuff like that. Then he come across, we get a house Tyrell, nice, but even that person mentions, I've never heard of this person before in my life. And then you have Egg having a conversation with Dunk, talking about, was he a bad knight? Like, how come he's a knight that nobody's ever heard of? And then that is where we kind of get the rowdiness of the crowd going, because making their way into Ashford are the Targaryens, and we do see a good bit of the Targaryen, like several members of the Targaryens, and you can tell from Egg's expression, Egg doesn't want to be around the Targaryens. And so Egg kind of like, hey, I'm gonna take the horse and make sure the camp's okay, make sure there's no bandits or anything like that. And this was basically a shot we saw in the trailer where he was like, where Dunk was like, if you run off, I'll get you with dogs. And he was like, you don't have dogs, and he does like a little wolf thing, freaks Egg out, Egg leaves, and then I believe we have like Baelor Targaryen, um, and then like his brother so and so. And then we meet what was his name? There was another Targaryen. This was like another shot in one of the trailers. No, no. This wasn't a shot in one of the trailers, but yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, now that I think about it, this was a shot in the trailer where you have um let me see, let me see if I can find it here. Where is it? I don't like these. Let's see. Okay, well, I'm trying to find. I don't think they said his name, but there was like another Targaryen that showed up. Um, yeah. So we get a lot of Targaryens in this episode. They're arriving just in time because the tournament is about to start. Um, Duncan makes his way kind of like into the castle where Baelor is, they're having a conversation, and Dunk overhears it talking about, missing son, and so and just different issues that are going on. Now, again, the reminder: this is set about almost 100 years after the events of House of the Dragons, so they don't have dragons anymore. And Dunk runs into a girl who was out present when Baelor arrived, and she was just kind of like, "Oh, the son's missing, think he's dead, stuff like that." Kind of like calls him tall and stupid and runs off. But Dunk gets, found out that he's like just standing there eavesdropping, and walks in, apologizes, forgiving my lords and stuff like that. And then he brings up Sir Alan Pennytree, talking about how he served you this, and this, and this. And lo and behold, Baylor mentions that he remembers Sir Alan Penetry because of something he did fighting, or like, was it unseating the Gray Lion? I think is what it was. And there's a little moment there because Baylor's like, "Do you happen to remember the true name of the Gray Lion?" And Dunk's kind of like looking. It's like, "Oh, is this could be like him lying or something like that?" Because like basically with this episode and episode one, and I think a lot of people have probably mentioned it, and like if they're familiar with the stories of Dunk and Egg, it's like some things are being exaggerated potentially by Dunk, um, but this is not one because he remembers the name. I think it was Damon Lannister. I believe that was the name he said. Let me see. Let's see if I can find it. Hmm. The Grey Lannister name. It was, yeah, Damon Lannister. That was the name of the Grey Lion. And even Baylor talks about how him and Sir Alan jousted several times, where you know they broke four spears before Baylor defeated him, and Dunk's like, "Well, actually, it was seven, sir." And Baylor responds, "Well, stories grow over the years and stuff like that." And Dunk's like, "You're right, it was four." And so and so he basically vouches for him, which was really surprising. 'Cause I thought the way it was going with um, um, Lionel Baratheon, he would be the one to vouch for Dunk, and no, looks like Baylor is vouching for him, get him on the list and everything, and so he basically tells him like, you know, maybe you should find your own sigil, house sigil, and things like that. And so that prompts Dunk to go, well, Dunk and Egg to go find um, the woman who we saw in episode one, who was like working a puppet and things like that. And let me see what her name was. Oh, can't remember her name. Let me see. I'm trying to get her name here. Uh, well, shoot, where's her name at? Well, dang it. But anyway, I know it's gonna come to me. I'm trying to find it, but I think it'll come to me. But anyway, so Dunk gets her to make a new sigil, and you could tell he's definitely struggling on trying to come up with something. Egg helps out, and it's gonna be like a field with a giant, large oak tree and thing and that kind of stuff. And he's the love she's the love interest for Duncan this season for sure. And so we saw her back to back. He enjoys the puppets, and they seem to both be hitting it off really well. Although he does like says because she talked about how uh people used to call her, now that I said it, Tansley or Tansel is her name, and like because she's talking about how people used to call her Tansel too tall, and Dunk's like, "Oh, you're not too tall. You're just right for," and it's kind of like a little awkwardness and things like that, and but yeah, he definitely likes her, so good for Dunk. Um, Dunk and Egg just hang out, and then they get brought into tug of war by Lionel Baratheon, which was really funny because I believe Lionel was like towards the front of it pulling, but the moment the rope was starting to go in the mud, he kind of like backs off and he's like, "I need a drink. I'm thirsty," and all this. And because you see him then like as Dunk is pulling and everybody else is pulling, the flag goes back on their side out of the mud. He comes around and then he's like, "All right, everybody start pulling." So I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, what do you? Come on, man. What do we? He's just. No, 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 no. He wasn't in the front. I thought he was in the front the way he did that, but he was like kind of in the middle. But anyway, so Dunk, obviously the tournament starts tomorrow. He needs armor, helmet, the works. He goes and finds a armorer. He gets set up. He does sell one of his horses. I get, yeah, it is just the one. It's the white one. And he talks about how if I win, I'll buy you back and everything like that. So, and he's like, there's no going back now. You sold the horse, you got the armor, you're on the list. The tournament starts tomorrow. There's no going back. Because one of the things about it is he Sir Alan has never won a tournament, and so he probably wants to win this tournament in honor of Sir Alan. But because even he would eggs like, "You think I would make a good knight?" And Dunk's like, "Yeah, you'll probably make a good knight." But festivities are about to begin. We have ourselves a jousting at night, which seems like a very interesting thing. Um, and it's all the different houses. The Targaryen, Baratheon, Tyrell. I I forgot what the tower with the green flame that was, High Tower. I think that's what it was, from like Otto Hightower. I think was the name, from House of the Dragon, if I remember that correctly. We see that it's pretty cool. We finally get some action. The jousting's very cool. I very much enjoyed it. Um, Egg looks a little like, kind of looks at his hands because he's seeing the squires running back and forth, carrying the lances for the champs and everything. Um, and even Dunk, something interesting is Dunk is like he's watching all this and he's just kind of like he's having flashbacks of Sir Alan. He's just like, are all good knights? Do all good knights just die on like side of the road in a ditch, basically? And I think he talked about how Sir Alan was a good man to him, and so I think this is more for probably hearing all the stories about Sir Alan and him being going on journeys with him. He wants to win this for Sir Alan, and so it's gonna be interesting to see because next episode I'm sure we'll start the tournament and everything like that. But overall, I enjoyed it. A little bit, we did finally get some action, but it's still, I would say, uh, how would I describe it? It's still. I don't think this is going to be an action pack heavy story. This could be more of a narrative driven story with some action sprinkled in, which I would not be opposed to at all. But overall, really liked it. First two episodes are really, really good. I enjoyed them. Now, obviously, somebody who has read the Hedge Knight and those books and everything like that probably has more knowledge about it. I could probably go more in depth on some things than I could. But overall, I really, really liked the first two episodes. Very excited to see what episode 3 brings next week. But that is relatively it for this review. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe. Comment below. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Y'all have a good one.